Imagine a mind vast as the cosmos, a mind that penned epic tales, tales like War and Peace, tales like Anna Karenina. This was Leo Tolstoy, a literary giant. His words painted worlds. They explored the human heart. He was a star in Russia's literary sky. His insights were profound, his characters unforgettable, but then something shifted. A new quest began. Tolstoy turned his gaze inward. He also looked outward. He saw the world around him. He saw its beauty. He saw its pain. This led him to write a different kind of book, a book called What Is to Be Done. It appeared in 1886. It was not a novel, it was a challenge, a question for humanity. What must we do? How should we live? Especially when faced with suffering, especially when faced with injustice. These questions echo today. They demand our attention. Tolstoy invites us to walk this path even now, so many years later. Tolstoy, the Count, moved to Moscow. He was a man of privilege. He had known comfort. He had known fame. He arrived with good intentions. He wanted to help the poor. He thought philanthropy was the answer. A noble goal, it seemed. He planned to use his wealth. He planned to use his influence. He felt a sense of duty. Then came the Moscow census of 1882. Tolstoy volunteered. He went into the city's poorest districts. What he saw there changed him forever. It was not just poverty. It was a universe of despair. People living in squalor. People without hope. Children cold and hungry. The air thick with misery. This was a hidden world. A dark matter in the heart of the city. His prior understanding shattered. The polite society he knew seemed a distant star. This raw, brutal reality was overwhelming. He could not unsee what he had seen. This was the spark that ignited what is to be done. Tolstoy felt an immense weight, the weight of conscience. He began to question everything, especially the lives of the wealthy, the lives of the educated. He saw a direct link, a connection between their comfort and others' pain. He argued that wealth was not innocent. It was often built on the labor of others who received too little. This was a hard truth. He believed the privileged had a profound duty, not just to give spare change, not just to offer occasional charity. Their duty was to change their very lives, to stop participating in systems that created poverty in the first place. This was a radical idea. It challenged the status quo. It made many uncomfortable. It still does. Tolstoy himself wrestled with this. He was part of that privileged world. He felt a deep personal guilt. This inner turmoil fueled his writing. He was not just pointing fingers, he was examining his own soul. This moral responsibility, he said, is universal. Tolstoy looked at charity, the common kind of charity. He saw it as insufficient, like trying to fill a black hole with cosmic dust. It might look like you're doing something, but the vast emptiness remains. He argued that much charity was superficial. It was a way for the rich, a way to ease their own discomfort, without truly changing anything fundamental. He saw it as a performance, a ritual to maintain appearances, giving a little money here, donating some old clothes there. These acts, he felt, often missed the point. They did not address the root causes, the systemic issues, the very structures that created and perpetuated poverty. It was like putting a small bandage on a very deep wound, a wound that needed serious surgery. Tolstoy called for something more. He urged a re-evaluation of society itself. How is wealth created? Who benefits? Who suffers? Section 5. A New Constellation, Spiritual Awakening and True North. Underpinning Tolstoy's passionate plea was a profound spiritual awakening. This was his new constellation, his guiding stars. He turned to the teachings of Jesus Christ, but he interpreted them in a radical way. He focused on the core message, a message of love, a message of compassion, a message of non-violence, and a call to a simple, humble life. This spiritual journey led him to embrace what some call Christian anarchism, a challenging concept. It meant rejecting the authority of the state. He saw governments as inherently coercive, often instruments of violence. He also questioned the established church. He felt it had strayed far from the true spirit of Christ's teachings, often aligning itself with power and with wealth. For Tolstoy, true faith was not about dogma, it was about living a life rooted in ethical principles, a life dedicated to serving others, especially the poor and the oppressed. His spirituality was intensely practical. It demanded action. Section 6. Challenging celestial bodies, questioning earthly powers. Tolstoy did not shy away from challenging the giants, the established powers of his time. He saw them as celestial bodies, immense and seemingly unmovable, but he questioned their legitimacy. He questioned their effects on human life. First among these was the government, the state. He viewed it as an organized system of violence designed to protect the interests of the few. He argued that laws, courts and armies all relied on coercion or the threat of force. This, he believed, was fundamentally immoral. It stood in direct opposition to the law of love, the law he found at the heart of true religion. He was not just critiquing specific policies, he was questioning the very idea, the idea that one group of people has the right to rule over another through force. Then there was the official church. Tolstoy, a deeply spiritual man, was scathing in his critique of organized religion. He accused it of hypocrisy, of siding with the powerful, of blessing wars and oppression instead of championing the cause of the poor and the teachings of peace found in the Gospels. Section 7. Living among the stars, the radiance of an ethical life. For Tolstoy, ideas were not enough. Grand theories were not enough. The most powerful force for change was personal example, living an ethical life. This, he believed, would radiate outwards like light from a distant star, illuminating the path for others. He called for a profound shift, a shift in how individuals conducted their daily lives, especially those with privilege. He emphasized the importance of manual labor, working with one's own hands. He saw this not as a punishment, but as a way to connect with the earth, to connect with the majority of humanity who toiled for their daily bread. He believed it fostered humility, it fostered understanding. It broke down the artificial barriers between the rich and the poor, the intellectual and the laborer. Tolstoy himself attempted to practice what he preached. He renounced his aristocratic title and lifestyle. He learned to make shoes. He worked in the fields alongside peasants. He adopted simple dress. He sought to reduce his reliance on the labor of others. His efforts were not always perfect. They were often fraught with contradictions. Section 8 echoes across the cosmos Tolstoy's legacy and our voyage. Tolstoy's radical call did not fade into silence. It echoed across the cosmos of human thought. It traveled through decades. It crossed oceans and continents. His ideas about non-violence, about simple living, about moral responsibility, they found fertile ground in the hearts and minds of future generations, especially those fighting for justice, for a better world. Consider Mahatma Gandhi, the great leader of India's independence movement. He was profoundly influenced by Tolstoy. He even established a cooperative community in South Africa and named it Tolstoy Farm. Gandhi's philosophy of satyagraha, or truth force, his commitment to non-violent resistance, these owed a significant debt to Tolstoy's writings, including What Is to Be Done. Then, across the Atlantic, Martin Luther King Jr. emerged, a beacon of the American civil rights movement. He too studied Tolstoy. He too embraced the power of non-violent action, the principles of love in the face of hatred, of peaceful resistance against oppression. These Tolstoyan ideals resonated deeply. They fueled a movement that changed a nation. The echoes continued to spread, inspiring countless others.